The 14-year-old mother painfully squeezed her breasts, but no matter how hard she tried, not a single drop of milk came out. Raising a child turned out to be far more complicated than she had imagined. Time rewound 10 months earlier. Amy, thrilled after skipping class for the first time, went alone to play by the river and spotted Ryota nearby. They had met at the same cram school. Amy happily ran over to greet him, both young and inexperienced. They quickly opened up to each other in the carefree atmosphere. Just then, a puppy appeared on the bridge, about to fall into the water. Without a second thought, Amy dashed over. Ryota didn't stand idly by either, watching Amy climb over the railing. He couldn't help but worry. Sure enough, Amy found herself in danger. Ryota threw himself forward to grab her arm, but both ended up falling into the water. Fortunately, the river wasn't deep, and neither was injured. They happily splashed around in the water. The warm evening sun bathed their faces, deepening the feelings between them. As dusk fell, instead of heading home, they went out together to take photos and play, but their youthful appearance quickly caught the attention of some local thugs. Facing the thugs' extortion, Ryota grabbed Amy and hurried away. The thugs pursued relentlessly from behind. Eventually, they were caught and beaten mercilessly. Fortunately, a group of adults passing by scared the thugs off. The two seized the chance to escape to a small cabin atop the mountain. Seeing the gloomy boy before her, Amy gently wiped his wounds. Under the bright moonlight, Amy saw Ryota. The atmosphere between them gradually grew intimate. Though their understanding of love was still vague, they began to entertain bolder thoughts. Late at night, Amy returned home. Facing her mother's anxious questioning, she lied about staying late for tutoring. Back in her room, Amy looked at the photo booth pictures she'd taken with the boy. She felt no regret for what they'd done. Instead, a blissful smile spread across her face. Time flew by, and 2 months passed. Amy gradually felt physical discomfort. Gazing at the calendar on the wall, she realized her period hadn't come in 2 months. During gym class, she nearly fainted. Back in the classroom, she pulled out her health textbook. Reading the descriptions, memories of that night flooded back, filling her with unease. On her way home, seeing pregnant women passing by only deepened her unease. She hurried home, fired up her computer, and took an online pregnancy test. Extremely high probability of pregnancy. It advised seeking medical attention immediately. Lying on her bed, Amy felt utterly lost. Her father came to call her for dinner but was sent away, noticing her daughter's distress. Her mother came to comfort her. Her gentle mother helped calm Amy's frantic heart. But how could she possibly tell her mother about this? Amy ultimately chose to hide it and called Ryota instead. But Ryota's mother ordered him to hang up the phone, and warned him not to get too close to messy girls. Having grown up in a single-parent household, Ryota obeyed his mother's every word. Unable to reach Ryota, Amy called her. Amy could only run to his doorstep. Ever since that night, Ryota kept repeating "I'm sorry." After all, he was only 15 and didn't know how to handle their relationship. On the way to school, Amy asked Ryota indirectly if he liked children. Ryota questioned why she was asking that, feeling a bit down. Amy then asked when he planned to get married. Influenced by his father, Ryota had no intention of marrying. After much contemplation, Amy arrived at the pharmacy, removed the red scarf from her chest, and stepped inside. Staring at the door, Ryota looked at her. Amy was staring at the pregnancy test kits on the shelf. She trembled as she took one down. But the money in her pocket wasn't enough to pay for it. With no other choice, Amy skipped out on the payment and ran all the way home, locking the door tightly behind her. Only then did Amy realize this was the first time she had ever stolen something. But now wasn't the time to dwell on that. With a heavy heart, she hurried to take the test. But the 2 lines plunged Amy into despair. She went to her mother's workplace, unwilling to burden her mother further. Amy changed out of her childish school uniform. Clothes before heading to the hospital. However, the nurse informed her that without a health insurance card due to her young age, she'd have to pay the full cost. With no other choice, Amy fled in a hurry, back home. Seeing Amy's low spirits only deepened her mother's worry, yet Amy refused to talk. The next day, while Amy was out for school, her mother discovered the pregnancy test kit while cleaning her room. When Amy returned, her mother didn't explode in anger but asked gently what had happened. Struggling to hide her shock, she urgently asked if Amy had been forced, but her daughter said she was pregnant because she loved someone. Snapping back to reality, her mother rushed her to the hospital. This was the very hospital where Amy herself had been born. The doctor and Amy's mother were longtime friends. Amy said, "Please examine me. I think I'm pregnant," to spare her mother's embarrassment. The doctor showed no unusual expression. After the examination, Amy saw her child for the first time. The doctor then explained abortion procedures to her. She was now 9 weeks pregnant, and the optimal time for termination was before 12 weeks. Amy suddenly asked if she could give birth to this child. On the way home, Reiko struck her daughter for the first time, yet soon embraced her tenderly. Back home, Reiko shared the news with her husband. He dismissed it as a prank, though his expression grew increasingly uneasy. Only when Reiko produced the hospital certificate did his composure shatter. He demanded his daughter summon the boy immediately. That irresponsible beast deserves to have his legs broken, yet Amy kept defending Ryota, insisting they truly loved each other. Being a minor, Amy couldn't comprehend her father's anguish, but his words lingered in her mind, so she dialed Ryota's number. Ryota deliberately ignored the call. Amy left a message asking him to meet her. Ryota showed up punctually, under the gentle night breeze. Amy confessed her feelings to Ryota, though not good with words. Ryota admitted his own feelings for her. After confirming Ryota's love, Amy revealed she was pregnant, ignoring Ryota's stunned expression. She insisted on keeping the baby. Ryota said his mind was blank. They agreed to meet again the next evening, when he would give Amy his answer. Meanwhile, Amy's parents had already located Ryota's home. The luxurious villa before them made the couple hesitate. Ryota's mother mistook them for salespeople. When they explained their purpose, Ryota's mother looked at them with utter contempt. Amy's parents hadn't expected Ryota's mother to be so arrogant and rude. Amy's father, enraged, turned and left. Back in the car, he wept in anguish, but soon they accepted reality. The most important thing now was their daughter's health. They knelt before their daughter, pleading with her, yet Amy insisted on carrying the child to term. Hearing this, her parents grew even more anxious. You're still a child yourself, how could you possibly fulfill a mother's responsibilities? Moreover, Ryota's family doesn't approve. Once the child is born, there will be no father. That would be irresponsible toward the child, so they urged to undergo an abortion as soon as possible. Amy refused to agree, asking her parents for one more day. By evening, she arrived early at the agreed location. Watching the happy family of 3 nearby, Amy couldn't wait to hear Ryota's answer. But then Ryota called, saying he had to go to cram school today and couldn't make it. He also told Amy to get rid of the baby and forget this whole mess. Back home, Amy clung to her mother, crying uncontrollably. She gradually realized her parents' well-meaning intentions. She made up her mind to turn to Ryota's mother, but she didn't. The pregnancy. The doctor expressed relief at Amy's decision. As teenage pregnancies often posed life-threatening risks, Amy believed her choice offered the best outcome for everyone. The doctor immediately prepared for the procedure. Reiko accompanied her daughter to the recovery room. To comfort her, she lay beside her on the bed. Suddenly, the sound of a newborn's cry drifted from the next room. Amy was deeply moved by the arrival of this new life. Thinking of the baby inside her about to be terminated, doubt began to creep into her heart. Amy kept apologizing to her mother. Then, she dashed out of the hospital into the pouring rain. Her mother immediately followed. As Amy crossed the street, an accident happened. Fortunately, she only suffered minor injuries, but Amy paid no attention to her own condition, instead worrying intensely about the baby inside her. Learning the baby was unharmed, she felt a wave of relief wash over her. Her father sensed something was amiss and confronted her. Didn't we agree to terminate the pregnancy? Faced with her father's questioning, Amy felt too ashamed to look him in the eye. She dragged her injured leg out of the room. Reiko grabbed her husband and explained what had happened. With the doctor's permission, she brought her daughter to the neonatal ward. Reiko wanted her daughter to understand the hardship of raising a child. Amy seemed to grasp her mother's intention, yet she still decided to give birth to the child. Watching her daughter, who seemed possessed, the mother felt utterly drained. But no matter what, she couldn't condone her daughter's recklessness. To spare her daughter's pride, there were things the mother had never said. But seeing her daughter's stubbornness, the mother could no longer hold back. Having a child at your age is extremely important. Irresponsible, no matter who you are. Given your current situation, what ability do you have to raise a child? And your life will undergo a complete 180-degree turn. Dropping out to raise a child will cost you your friends and your chance to re-enter society. Amy had never seen her mother so stern. Tears of hurt welled in her eyes. Reiko scolded her daughter. You cry at the slightest criticism and expect to be a mother? Amy returned to the delivery room door. Amy's younger brother found Ryota waiting outside their home. Avoiding responsibility had never been Ryota's true intention. It was all due to his mother's relentless pressure for him to succeed. Ryota lived in constant guilt and self-reproach. He resolved that this time, no matter what, he would defy his mother's decision. Amy's father angrily berated Ryota. He demanded Ryota vanish from his daughter's life forever. Ryota returned home in a daze. His mother had already prepared his passport. He knew full well this was his mother's calculated way of pushing him away. But Ryota recalled Amy's father's words. Since the child had been aborted, perhaps breaking up was the best outcome for both of them. So Ryota decided to follow his mother's plan. Before leaving, he went to Amy's uncle's shop. Her uncle called Amy to tell her Ryota was leaving the country. He also left her a message. But I've never regretted knowing you. It was Ryota's farewell that shook Amy's resolve to terminate the pregnancy. Amy changed into her school uniform, preparing to head to class. News of her pregnancy had already spread throughout the entire school. Her mother arrived at the school office. Reiko apologized repeatedly in front of the school administrators, explaining her daughter was prepared to have an abortion, and begging the school to give her another chance. By then, Amy had entered her classroom and openly shared the news of her pregnancy. She declared she would give birth to the baby in her womb. Had her mother been present, she might have died of shock. Yet Amy explained her reasoning before her classmates. When she learned of the pregnancy, panic gripped her heart. Her parents suffered deeply because of her mistake. As for the baby's father, they would never meet again, but he had said meeting her made him feel truly happy, and she looked forward to meeting her baby. just as my mother gave birth to me to meet me. Standing at the classroom door, listened to her daughter bravely express her thoughts, tears streaming down her face. After bidding farewell to her classmates, Amy looked at her mother with guilt. She hoped for her mother's forgiveness, but she didn't cry, because her mother had said someone who cried at the drop of a hat has no right to be a mother. Amy called out to her mother and reached out her small hand. Though her mother's heart was torn, she chose to grasp her daughter's hand, because no matter what, she would always be her child. The mother made one final effort. She told her daughter she'd consulted the doctor. At your age, those who have babies rarely manage to raise them. The child will end up in an orphanage or given up for adoption. Reiko hoped her daughter would reconsider. Amy replied she was prepared for it. Seeing her daughter's unwavering resolve, Reiko had no choice but to silently agree. The doctor then explained the dangers young mothers would face. Amy's father grew even more panicked. He blamed his wife for irresponsibility, accusing her of recklessly siding with their daughter on such a critical matter. Will this really make Amy happy?